It's time now for a look at the latest in local news. In the news, the Wayne County Commissioners met Wednesday evening for their regular monthly meeting, and under items with Commissioners, Chairman Herschel Harris says the COVID cases in Wayne County continue to rise at an alarming rate, and that the hospital nurses and staff he says that hospital nurses and staff are simply swamped with patients with COVID. And Harris says he's been in constant communication with hospital CEO Joe Roddy, and discussions have already taken place about using the old state prison as a possible facility to help with the overload of patients. Harris says they will look to the governor's office for help in staffing that facility. He says those discussions are taking place, and it's a good possibility the old state prison will be used to help in this fight against the pandemic. Harris says the best way to fight the pandemic, though, is to get vaccinated. Also under items with commissioners, Commissioner Thomas says the improvements to Hall Richardson look good. He thanked the commissioners and administrator for allowing the funds to be used to improve the facility. Thomas says he's pleased. Ed Jeffers says the prison crew is in doing the painting at this time. They're looking to put a new roof on the building, but they say the project should be completed shortly. Also under items with commissioners, Mike Roberts says the improvement to the buildings at J.C. Landing is looking good. They also announced that Wayne County is receiving a $500,000 grant for the J.C. Landing project. Commissioners are pleased with that. They're pleased with the progress and the improvements at the landing. Other news, commissioners approved increases in entry-level pay for deputies, detention officers, and EMA employees. Jeffers says it will affect the budget around $80,000. He says he's worked with the sheriff on the increase in pay amounts, and those were presented last night and approved on a 4-0 vote by the Wayne County Commissioners Board. County approved staggered terms for their next elections, with Districts 1, 3, and 5 going to 2-year terms. Similar to what the city of Jesup did, they don't want to see an entire board leave office at one time. They want to be able to keep some consistency, thus moving to staggered terms. They also approved an elections board. They say it'll be made up of 7 members, 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans, 1 independent. Has to be approved by the state legislature. And they voted 3-1 to approve a social media policy for county employees, in which they're advised as to what they can and cannot post about the county offices they work in. Kevin McCrary wanted more people involved in the decision process, and thus voted against the current policy, again approved by a 3-1 vote. And they only have 4 commissioners on the board, as Ralph Hickox has resigned to run for mayor. His position cannot be filled until a special election can be held in March of 2022. He was at the board meeting in the audience, and under items with the commissioners, Kevin McCurry thanked him for his years of service. Other commissioners took time under their items with commissioners to thank Chairman Herschel Harris for all the work he's done for the board. James Thomas told Harris he's taken the role of chairman to a new level. That's a look at your county commissioners meeting. We'll be back with more news after this word from our sponsor or the commercial messages, so please stay tuned. In other news, the Wayne County Board of Education conducting a retreat today. It gets underway shortly at 7:30 at the Tech Center. One of the items on the agenda is a COVID update. Dr. Kelly and the board will discuss the COVID numbers, also an executive session, discuss personnel. Again, that retreat taking place at the Tech Center today at 7:30 a.m. City of Jesup has elections this November. We have a couple of candidates coming into the Butch and Bob Show this week to discuss their candidacies. Tomorrow, candidate for Mayor Tyrone Johnson will be our special guest. He's running along with Ralph Hickox for the mayor's position, and that's on Friday's show. Today on the show, City Council candidate Stephanie Williams, she's running in District 3 alongside Tim Cockfield, who's no stranger to the City Council. He's a former City Council member, spent years on the council. Again, the election's set for November, but Stephanie Williams, a candidate in District 3, will be our special guest today. Other races, Dawn Darden and Pamela Schumann running in District 2, and Bill Harvey and Heather Altman running in District 6. We had Bill Harvey last Friday on the show. You can hear that interview on our website. Once again, the elections for the City of Jesup set for November. Also, a couple of contested races in the City of Scriven in November. For the second time in a year, Congressman Buddy Carter helped secure much-needed masks for medical personnel at Wayne Memorial Hospital by reaching out to relatively new Georgia business SK Battery America. With the rise in positive COVID cases during the Delta surge, Carter knew area hospitals may be in need of some help. The company had 1,000 KN95 masks available, wanted to provide them where needed. After learning more about the local pandemic situation, the company decided to up their donation to 2,000 masks. At the donation presentation, hospital CEO Joe Roddy gladly accepted the 2,000 masks and again thanked Congressman Carter for his help. He says it's a huge help to have these at our fingertips. We will not only give these to our staff, but we'll also provide them to our infusion patients to use and take home so that they are protected as well as others around them. And Carter expressed his gratitude. Also says thank you to SK Battery for your continued commitment. We're excited about being in the state, bringing jobs. It's obvious you're doing a good corporate citizen as well. Again, they state they're happy to support medical personnel in the hospitals in our state. We'll come back with some final news notes after this word from our sponsor of the commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Final note in the news, former District Attorney Jackie Johnson turned herself into the Wayne County Sheriff's Office yesterday morning, was booked into the jail, and then released on a $10,000 bond. She's represented by attorney John Ossick, and neither he nor Johnson had any comment yesterday. She's been charged with 2 counts, 1 a felony, 1 a misdemeanor for alleged misconduct in how she handled the Ahmaud Arbery investigation and shooting. She's charged with obstruction of an officer, which is a misdemeanor, and she's also has been charged with a felony for violation of oath of office, in which she is accused of showing favor and affection to Greg McMichael, who's Travis McMichael's father. Both are charged with murder in the shooting death of Ahmaud Arbery. Attorney General Chris Carr says the investigation is still ongoing. More charges and more arrests could be forthcoming. One person who could be charged is attorney George Barnhill from neighboring Waycross Circuit, who was given the case to review by Johnson. Barnhill reviewed the evidence the day after Arbery was shot and killed and quickly determined that no apparent crime had been committed. In his legal opinion, he ruled self-defense. Months later, when the video of the shooting was released, the GBI was called in and took over the investigation on the request of both the Attorney General and Governor. Barnhill had to recuse himself when it was revealed that he had a conflict as well, as his son had worked for Johnson in the DA's office. The state is now in his 3rd district attorney handling the Ahmaud Arbery shooting death, as they have a DA from Cobb County, and that murder trial begins in Glenn County with jury selection on October the 18th. That's going to do it for the latest in local news. Sports comes your way in a few minutes. Bob Morgan, have a great day.